Japan, the land of the rising sun, is a country known for its modern infrastructure, beautiful scenery, and as of more recent, anime. Yet, there are many other great and somewhat weird things going on within Japan, hidden away from the public view, ranging from the weird bouffant cafes to dark and obscure commercials. And in this iceberg, we're going to go over some of these unique things that make Japan an interesting country. Beginning at the top, where most of these things are going to be somewhat tame, down to the bottom of the iceberg, where things begin to become obscure. But alright, without further ado, let's get right into it. Beginning with anime. Anime is a style of animation that originated in Japan and has become a global phenomenon. It encompasses a wide range of genres and themes from action and romance to fantasy and science fiction. Anime often features vibrant characters with distinct, exaggerated facial expressions and colorful visuals. It can be aimed at various age groups, from children to adults, and has a rich cultural influence. The medium has a diverse and dedicated fanbase worldwide, with iconic series and films that have left a lasting impact on pop culture. Manga. Manga is a Japanese version of comic books, which is aimed at both children and adults. The first mangas originated between 1603 to 1867 during the Edo Period, and have been on the rise ever since, becoming a global sensation, and with genres ranging from action, romance and fantasy, to horror and science fiction. It has influenced various forms of media, including anime and live-action adaptations. Manga plays a significant role in Japanese pop culture and has become a prominent cultural export. Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Hiroshima and Nagasaki refers to the two cities that got bombed during World War II. On the morning of August 6, 1945, the first bomb named Little Boy was dropped over Hiroshima, and 3 days later, on the morning of August 9th, the second bomb named Fat Man was dropped over Nagasaki. It is estimated that the lives of 129 to 226,000 people ended during the bombings, most of which were civilians. The bombings were ordered by President Harry S. Truman, and were the first and only use of nuclear weapons in warfare, playing a significant role in Japanese surrender and the end of World War II. But they also sparked ethical debates about the use of atomic weapons and their humanitarian consequences. Yakusa. The Yakusa is a Japanese organized crime syndicate with deep-rooted historical origins. They view themselves as modern-day samurai or ronins, and they're known for following a strict code of conduct, hierarchical structure, and involvements in various illegal activities. The Yakuza has become a prominent element in Japanese pop culture. Their activities range from traditional organized crime to more contemporary pursuits, making them a complex and fascinating subject for exploration. Also, the Yakuza games are bangers, so play them. Tokusatsu. Tokusatsu is a Japanese term that translates to special filming in English. It refers to a genre of film and television that prominently features special effects, often focusing on sci-fi, fantasy, and superhero themes. Tokusatsu productions are known for their use of elaborate costumes, miniature models, and visual effects to create larger-than-life action sequences. For example, the older Godzilla films, the Super Sentai series, which inspired Power Rangers, and Kamen Rider. The genre has a rich history in Japanese pop culture and has gained international recognition for its unique blend of storytelling and special effects. Samurai. The samurai were skilled and honorable warriors who emerged in feudal Japan during the 12th century. Serving as a military elite, they follow a strict code of conduct, known as Bushido, emphasizing virtues like loyalty, honor, and self-discipline. They wore distinctive armor and were skilled in various martial arts, and they also played a crucial role in Japanese history, serving feudal lords and maintaining order. Beyond their martial prowess, samurai were also patrons of the arts and contributed to the development of Japanese culture. The decline of the samurai class occurred in the late 19th century, with the Meiji Restoration, marking the end of an era and the transformation of Japan into a modern nation. Otaku. Otaku is a term originating from Japan, broadly referring to individuals with a passionate and obsessive interest in anime, manga, and other aspects of Japanese pop culture. Originally, it was considered derogatory, but as of late, it has been embraced by enthusiasts worldwide. Otaku can be categorized into various subtypes such as anime otaku, gun otaku, and gaming otaku, each deeply immersed in their respective interest. The term has evolved and is now often used neutrally or even affectionately to describe dedicated fans of Japanese pop culture. Sometimes. Okay, moving over to the second tier of the iceberg, we have Fukushima. The Fukushima nuclear disaster occurred on March 11, 2011 in Japan. It was triggered by a massive earthquake and subsequent tsunami. that severely damaged the Fukushima nuclear power plant. The disaster led to a partial meltdown of 3 of the plant's 6 reactors, releasing radioactive material into the environment. The event is considered one of the worst nuclear disasters in history, prompting widespread evacuations, environmental concerns, and debates about the safety of nuclear power. The aftermath of Fukushima has had lasting impacts on the nuclear industry, and has influenced discussions around energy policy and disasters preparedness globally. Weaboo. Weaboo refers to a person who is excessively and obsessively interested in Japan, anime, and manga culture to the point where it becomes a part of their whole identity. The term is often used derogatively to describe individuals who adopt Japanese cultural elements in a manner that is perceived as exaggerated, inappropriate, or even offensive. Weaboos may display behaviors such as speaking in Japanese phrases, adopting a stereotypical anime aesthetic in their appearance, over other cultural influences. The term is derived from a mispronunciation of wannabe Japanese. Commercials. Japanese commercials are often known for their eccentric and surreal nature, contributing to a unique and memorable viewing experience. They frequently employ bizarre concepts, over-the-top characters, and unexpected plot twists to capture viewers' attention. From quirky jingles to unusual mascots, these commercials often prioritize creativity and entertainment value over conventional advertising norms. The use of humor, absurdity, and sometimes even a touch of the surreal has led to a reputation for Japanese commercials being both strange and fascinating. However, they are not afraid of embracing strangeness in their commercials, sometimes making things that could be considered nightmare fuel. Vending machines. Japanese vending machines can be found just about everywhere and offer a wide range of products beyond just beverages. While they do dispense various types of drinks, including both hot and cold options, these machines also provide snacks, fresh food, cigarettes, and even items like umbrellas and used pennies. Don't ask. Many vending machines in Japan accept both cash and electronic payments, contributing to their popularity and efficiency. The machines are widespread, found in urban areas, rural locations, and even on remote islands, reflecting the convenience and reliability of this aspect of Japanese culture. Hentai. Hentai is a genre of anime or manga that often involves explicit sexual content and can cover a wide range of themes and fetishes. It originated in Japan and has gained international popularity. While there is a diverse array of hentai content, it is generally not suitable for mainstream audiences and is intended for adult viewers. Logan Paul. On December 31st, 2017, in the Aokigahara forest, also known as the Suicide Forest, due to the high number of suicides that occurred there, Logan Paul and his friends decided to shoot a video in the forest. The video showed a suicide victim and Logan Paul and his friends reacting with inappropriate and insensitive behavior. The video received widespread criticism for its lack of empathy and the exploitation of a tragic situation for entertainment purposes. YouTube has since removed the video, and Logan Paul issued an apology acknowledging the insensitivity of his actions. The incident led to increased scrutiny of content creators on the platform and sparked a broader conversation about responsible and ethical behavior on social media. Cat Island. Cat Island refers to a small island in Japan that has gained fame for its overwhelming population of feral cats. This unusual island is home to hundreds of cats, outnumbering the human population, effectively completing the first step towards their plan of world domination. The cats have become a major tourist attraction, drawing visitors who come to enjoy the unique experience of being surrounded by friendly felines, and the phenomenon has sparked interest in the concept of cat islands around the world, where cats seemingly rule, creating charming and unusual destinations for cat enthusiasts. Pachinko. Pachinko is a popular Japanese arcade game that combines elements of pinball and slot machines. Players launch small metal balls into a vertical playing field filled with pins, aiming to land the balls in winning pockets to accumulate more balls or prizes. Beyond its simple gameplay, Pachinko holds cultural significance in Japan and has a complex history, intertwining with legal, economic, and social aspects. The game's allure extends beyond entertainment, with Pachinko parlors being a unique and integral part of Japanese society. Also, it's basically legal gambling, as you can exchange your points for prizes, and then you can later change those prizes for cash later on. The third tier. Hachiko. Based on the true story of a dog's loyalty and devotion, it centers around a Japanese Akira dog named Hachiko, who faithfully awaited the return of his owner at a train station every day, even after his owner's death. Hachiko was born on November 10, 1923, on a farm near the city of Odate, and was later adopted by Professor Hidesaburo Ueno, who brought the dog with him to live in Shibuya. He would wait for the professor at Shibuya Station every day, after work, even after the professor passed in 1925. He would continue to visit the station every day for the next 10 years until his passing. The tale gained international recognition, symbolizing unwavering loyalty, and a statue of Hachiko stands in Tokyo's Shibuya Station as a tribute to his enduring faithfulness, and the story has been adapted into films and books, capturing the hearts of people worldwide. Hafu. Hafu is a term used in Japan to describe individuals who are biracial or of mixed ethnicity background, particularly those with one Japanese parent and one parent of a different nationality or ethnicity. The word is derived from the English term half, reflecting the idea that these individuals are half Japanese. Unfortunately, Hafu individuals may navigate issues related to identity, belonging, and cultural understanding as they straddle two or more cultural backgrounds. The term is commonly used in Japan, but has also been adopted more broadly to discuss similar experiences in other multicultural contexts. Akira Kurasawa was a highly influential Japanese filmmaker regarded as one of the greatest in the history of cinema. Known for his storytelling and visual style, Kurosawa's works often explore human nature, morality, and the complexities of life. He gained international acclaims for films such as Rashomon, which introduced the concepts of subjective truth in storytelling, and Seven Samurai, a groundbreaking epic that influenced countless filmmakers worldwide. Kurosawa's collaborations with actor Toshiro Mifune are particularly celebrated as his impact on cinema extends beyond Japan, shaping the global perception of Japanese filmmaking and inspiring generations of directors. Mariya Takeuchi is a Japanese singer and songwriter known for her contributions to the city pop genre, a style of popular music that emerged in Japan in the late 1970s and 1980s. She gained widespread recognition with her 1984 hit single, Plastic Love, which has since become a viral sensation and a symbol of the city pop genre's resurgence on the internet. Takeuchi has had a successful and enduring career in the Japanese music industry, with numerous albums and singles to her name. She is often considered a pioneer in the city pop genre and is celebrated for her smooth vocals and catchy tunes. Beyond her music career, Mariya Takeuchi is also known for her marriage to fellow musician and producer Tatsuro Yamashita, who is also a prominent figure in the city pop scene. Their collaboration has contributed to the development and popularity of city pop as a distinctive and influential music style. Itasha is a Japanese cultural phenomenon that involves decorating cars with colorful anime, manga, or video games themed artwork. The term Itasha translates to painful car in Japanese, expressing the idea that the vehicles might be considered painful to look at by those who don't appreciate the otaku culture. The trend originated in the 80s and has since grown in popularity, becoming a unique and visually striking expression of fandoms. Itasha cars can be seen at anime conventions, car shows, and on the streets of Japan. Some enthusiasts go to great lengths to personalize their cars, turning them into rolling works of art that showcase their passion for anime and related subcultures. Itasha has also gained attention internationally, with enthusiasts in various countries embracing the trend and adding their own personalized style to it. Japanese isolationism. This refers to a foreign policy approach adopted by Japan during various periods in its history, where the country sought to limit its interactions with the outside world and maintain a self-imposed isolation. The most well-known and lengthy period of Japanese isolationism occurred during the Edo period, in which the Tokugawa shogunate implemented a policy known as sakoku, meaning closed country. The primary goals of sakoku was to stabilize the internal situation of Japan, prevent the spread of Christianity, and control foreign influence. Please watch Silence, it is genuinely an interesting movie about this very topic, and Spider-Man and Kylo Ren are in it. The Tokugawa government restricted foreign trade and travel, allowing only a few select ports to engage in limited trade with the Dutch and Chinese. Japanese citizens were also prohibited from traveling abroad, and foreigners were not allowed to enter Japan. This isolationist policy began to erode in the mid-19th century, due to external pressures, such as demand from Western powers to increase access to Japanese markets and ports. The arrival of Commodore Matthew Perry and his black ships in 1853 played a crucial role in forcing Japan to open up to the outside world. This eventually led to the Meiji Restoration in 1868, marking the end of the Edo period and the beginning of Japan's modernization. and engagement with the international community. Seppuku, also known as harakiri, is a form of ritual suicide by disembowelment that originated in Japan. Historically, it was practiced by samurai to restore honor to themselves or their families in the face of grave dishonor or failure. The act involves the individual using a short blade, typically a tanto, to cut open their abdomen, followed by a beheading to complete the act. Seppuku was considered a solemn and honorable way to atone for mistakes, avoid capture, or protest against perceived injustices. The ritual was deeply ingrained in Japanese culture but has largely fallen out of practice in modern times. KFC during Christmas. In Japan, celebrating Christmas often involves a surprising and delicious tradition: enjoying KFC. The roots of this festive custom trace back to a successful marketing campaign by KFC in the 1970s, as Christmas wasn't a widely celebrated holiday in Japan at the time, and KFC seized the opportunity to promote their fried chicken as a special holiday meal. The campaign was named, I'm sorry if I butchered this, Kurisumasu Niwa Kentucky, Kentucky for Christmas, and it featured the iconic Colonel Sanders dressed as Santa Claus. The idea caught on quickly, and today it has become a beloved tradition for many Japanese families to order KFC for Christmas dinner. To meet the high demand during the holiday season, KFC offers special Christmas packages that include fried chicken, sides, and even festive desserts. People often place their orders well in advance to secure their KFC feast, because the popularity of this unique tradition has turned KFC into an integral part of Japanese Christmas celebrations, and the festive atmosphere at KFC stores during this time is truly something to experience. Reality shows. Japanese reality shows cover a diverse range of genres and themes, offering unique experiences to viewers. These shows often blend elements of drama, comedy, and competition, showcasing the creativity and innovation of Japanese television. One popular category is the variety show, which features a mix of celebrity interviews, comedic sketches, and games. These shows often incorporate humorous challenges and activities, encouraging spontaneous and entertaining interactions among participants. There is also a strong presence of reality competitions in Japan. Programs like Terrace House follows the lives of young adults living together and navigating relationships, providing a more subdued and realistic portrayal compared to the exaggerated drama often found in the Western reality shows. Other competition-based shows focus on talents such as singing, dancing, or cooking, showcasing the skills of participants in a competitive format. Karoshi refers to a phenomenon in Japan where individuals experience death or severe health issues due to overwork and stress. This term gained prominence as a societal issue, shedding light on the extreme pressures associated with the Japanese work culture. The concept has cultural, social, and economic implications, reflecting the challenges faced by workers in high-stress environments. Edo Period. The Edo period was marked by stability under the Tokugawa shogunate, cultural flourishing, and isolationist policies, and the samurai class. It saw the rise of urban centers like Edo or modern-day Tokyo, development of kabuki theater, ukiyo-e art, and the implementation of strict social hierarchies. However, it also had hidden layers such as economic challenges, occasional political unrest, and the eventual opening of Japan to the world in the mid-19th century. Bosuzoku refers to a Japanese subculture associated with motorcycle gangs. It emerged in the 1950s and is characterized by distinctive, highly customized motorcycles and flamboyant, often rebellious fashion. Bosuzoku groups have their own unique symbols and rituals, and their activities have evolved to include car modification and social gatherings. While initially seen as a countercultural movement, Bosuzoku has faced criticisms for its disruptive behavior and clashes with the law. The Korean occupation. Korea experienced a significant period of occupation in the 20th century. In 1910, the Korean peninsula was annexed by Japan, marking the beginning of a brutal colonial rule that lasted until the end of World War II in 1945. During this time, the Korean people faced cultural suppression, economic exploitation, and harsh policies imposed by the Japanese authorities. After Japan's defeat in 1945, Korea was liberated, but the post-war geopolitical situation led to the division of the peninsula into North and South Korea. The Korean War further entrenched this division, with the North supported by China and the Soviet Union, and the South supported by the United States and its allies. The war ended in a truce, not a peace treaty, leaving the two Koreas technically still at war. The occupation and division of Korea had a profound and lasting impact on the Korean people, shaping the modern history and geopolitical dynamics of the region. The consequences of this history continues to influence relations between North and South Korea and have broader implications for East Asian politics. Katsudo Shashin is a term that translates to moving pictures in Japanese. It refers to the early Japanese cinema, specifically the silent film era, that emerged in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. During this time, filmmakers in Japan began experimenting with motion pictures, drawing inspiration from Western cinematic techniques. One of the notable pioneers of Katsudo Shashin is Junichiro Tanizaki, who created short silent films around 1907. Over time, Japanese filmmakers developed their unique style, incorporating traditional elements of Japanese culture into their works. The introduction of synchronized sound in the 1930s further advanced Japanese cinema, leading to the development of iconic films and influential directors. This entry in the Iceberg could also be talking about the first anime created, also called Katsudo Shashin, a 3-second short film of a boy in a sailor outfit riding moving pictures. Suicide Forest refers to Aokigahara, a dense forest located at the northwest base of Mount Fuji in Japan. It gained international attention due to the high number of suicides that occur within its depths. The forest's eerie reputation is fueled by its thick vegetation, making it easy for individuals to become disoriented and lost. Authorities have installed signs encouraging visitors to seek help and reconsider their actions. The reasons behind the suicide are complex and often involve personal struggles, mental health issues, and societal pressures. And please, if you suffer from any mental condition or you feel a certain type of way, please seek professional help. Or call the suicide prevention hotline. There are many people out there that are willing to help. Ohaguro refers to the traditional Japanese practice of blackening or dyeing one's teeth, primarily done by married women. This custom dates back centuries and was prevalent among the aristocratic and samurai classes. Ohaguro was considered a sign of beauty and maturity, symbolizing martial status and adherence to societal norms. The practice involved applying a black lacquer or dye made from iron fillings, tea, and other ingredients to the teeth, resulting in a shiny black appearance. While Ohaguro was once widespread, especially during the Edo period, it gradually declined in popularity and became less common in the 20th century, eventually fading away as Japan modernized and adopted Western beauty standards. Today, Ohaguro is mostly a historical and cultural curiosity, with very few individuals continuing this tradition. Yokais. Yokais are supernatural creatures or phenomena from Japanese folklore that are often depicted as spirits, monsters, or ghosts. The term yokai is a broad category that encompasses a wide range of entities, including mischievous spirits, malevolent demons, and even benevolent beings. These creatures are deeply rooted in Japanese mythology and have been popularized in various forms of media, including literature, art, and more recently, in anime and manga. Yokai can take on various shapes and forms, from humanoid figures to animals, and they're often associated with specific natural elements or occurrences. Some yokais are believed to bring good fortune, while others are considered to be harbingers of misfortune or outright maliciousness. The fascination with yokai continues to be a significant part of Japanese culture, and their stories are woven into the fabric of traditional folklore. The concept of yokai also frequently appears in contemporary entertainment, making it a compelling and enduring aspect of Japanese mythology. The fourth tier. Hikikomori. Hikikomori is a term originating in Japan to describe a phenomenon where individuals, typically young adults, withdraw from social life and isolate themselves in their homes for an extended period. This withdrawal is often fueled by various factors such as social pressures, academic stress, and economic challenges. Hikikomori individuals may spend months or even years in isolation, relying on virtual communication and avoiding face-to-face interactions. The phenomenon has raised concerns about mental health and societal issues, prompting discussions and research to understand and address the underlying causes and potential solutions. Hachishakusama refers to a Japanese urban legend that revolves around a tall, thin woman with the ability to stretch her body. The name translates to 8 feet tall in English, emphasizing her towering stature. According to the legend, Hachishakusama preys on children, often disguising herself as a relative or someone familiar to the child before revealing her true, horrifying form. This story has gained popularity on the internet and has become a subject of interest in horror communities and discussions. Hachishakusama has inspired various works of fiction, adding to its cultural impact within the realm of Japanese horror folklore. Disputed lands with Russia. The disputed lands between Japan and Russia primarily revolves around the Kuril Islands, a chain of volcanic islands in the Pacific Ocean. The dispute stems from the aftermath of World War II, when the Soviet Union occupied the Kuril Islands, which were originally Japanese territory. The San Francisco Peace Treaty of 1951 formally renounced Japan's claims to the Kuriles, but the issue remains unresolved. The lack of a peace treaty between Japan and Russia concerning the Kuril Islands continues to be a source of tension between the two countries, hindering the development of their relations. Kyoto Animation. Kyoto Animation, often abbreviated as KyoAni, is a renowned Japanese animation studio based in Kyoto, Japan. Known for its high-quality animation and distinctive art style, Kyoto Animation has produced a number of critically acclaimed and popular anime series, including Clannad, K-On!, Violet Evergarden, and The Melancholy of Haru Suzumiya. The studio has gained a reputation for its commitment to nurturing talent and maintaining a supportive work environment for its staff. Tragically, on July 18, 2019, Kyoto Animation was the target of an arson attack, resulting in the loss of lives and injuries to many employees. The incident shocked the anime community and fans worldwide, prompting an outpouring of support for the studio. The studio's resilience in the face of adversity and its continued dedication to producing quality anime have solidified Kyoto Animation's place in the hearts of many fans and the anime industry. Ganguro. Ganguro is a Japanese fashion and cultural trend that emerged in the 1990s. The term translates to blackface, which, by the way, this has nothing to do with the Western idea of what blackface is. Ganguro was created for women to reject the typical idea of what an Asian woman should look like, and this style is characterized by extreme tanning, heavy makeup, and brightly colored hair, often in shades of orange or blonde, being closely related to another style called yaru. This unconventional style was a form of rebellion against traditional Japanese beauty standards and reflected a desire to break away from societal norms. While Ganguro has become less prominent in recent years, it remains an intriguing and distinctive subculture in Japanese fashion history. Japanese colony in Brazil. The migration of Japanese people to Brazil began in the early 20th century, with the first wave of immigrants arriving in the early 1900s to work in agriculture. The largest influx occurred in the early 20th century, and today, Brazil is home to one of the largest Japanese communities outside of Japan. Japanese immigrants played a crucial role in Brazil's cultural development, particularly in the cultivation of coffee. Over the years, the Japanese Brazilian community has made significant contributions to various aspects of Brazilian society, including culture, business, and technology. Despite facing challenges such as discrimination and cultural integration, the Japanese Brazilian community has thrived and enriched the cultural tapestry of Brazil. This historical and cultural exchange between Japan and Brazil continues to shape the relationship between the two nations. Sakuga. Sakuga is a term used in anime to refer to moments of exceptionally high-quality animation. These moments stand out due to their fluidity, attention to detail, and overall impressive visual impact. Sakuga can elevate key scenes in anime, capturing the audience's attention and leaving a lasting impression. Animators often showcase their skills during these moments, displaying their unique styles and pushing the boundaries of traditional animation. Sakuga is celebrated by anime enthusiasts for its ability to enhance storytelling and create memorable experiences for viewers. Miyamoto Musashi. Musashi was a legendary Japanese swordsman and philosopher who lived in the 17th century during the Edo period. He is widely considered one of the greatest swordsmen in Japanese history, and is best known for his exceptional skill in martial arts and his undefeated record in over 60 duels. One of Musashi's most famous works is the Book of Five Rings, a classic thesis on strategy, tactics, and philosophy that has influenced not only martial arts, but also business and leadership. Musashi's teaching emphasized the importance of adaptability, psychological insight, and the integration of various skills. His life was marked by a journey of self-discovery and personal development, as he sought not only martial prowess, but also a deeper understanding of life and the way of the warrior. Musashi's legacy continued to inspire martial artists and individuals seeking wisdom in various aspects of life. The Ainu People. The Ainu are indigenous people primarily residing in Hokkaido, Japan, with some presence in northern Honshu and Sakhalin Island in Russia. Although their population in Japan exceeds 24,000, the Ainu language is critically endangered, with only a few fluent speakers. The Ainu, traditionally animist, lived in close connection with nature, relying on hunting, gathering, and fishing. Historically, they faced colonialism and pressure from the Japanese, leading to conflicts and a decline in population due to unfamiliar diseases and mistreatment. The Meiji period saw the legal erasure of Ainu land rights, forced assimilation policies, and discriminatory measures. Post-World War II, Ainu advocacy increased, culminating in a 1997 legislation recognizing Ainu culture. The Ainu were officially recognized as indigenous people by Japan in 2008, but challenges persist. Despite efforts to preserve Ainu culture, the economic and social marginalization persist with issues such as prejudice, discrimination, and restricted fishing rights. Government initiatives aim to address specific challenges, but there's reluctance to grant Ainu full indigenous status, fearing violation of constitutional equality provisions. Recent debates around projects like the Symbolic Space for Ethnic Harmony, with some Ainu welcoming cultural promotion efforts, while others seek more comprehensive policies for social improvement. Positive steps include the 2016 reparation of Ainu human remains from Hokkaido University, and the 2017 return of Ainu artifacts from Berlin, marking progress in recognizing and respecting Ainu heritage. Okama is a term in Japanese that typically refers to a man who presents himself in a feminine or flamboyant manner, often displaying traits considered stereotypically feminine. In some contexts, it may be used to describe a homosexual or transgender individual, although it's important to note that the term can be seen as offensive in certain situations. In popular culture and media, the term okama is sometimes used to portray characters who challenge traditional gender norms, and it can be associated with comedic or exaggerated depictions. Mongolian Invasion. The Mongol invasions of Japan, or kamikaze, meaning divine wind, occurred in the 13th century, specifically in 1274 and 1281. Led by the Mongol ruler Kublai Khan, the invasions were part of his broader campaign to expand the Mongol Empire. During the first invasion in 1274, the Mongol forces landed on the Japanese islands, but a typhoon, referred to as kamikaze, struck, causing significant damage to the Mongol fleet and forcing them to withdraw. The Japanese saw this typhoon as a divine intervention that protected their homeland. However, Kublai Khan launched a second invasion in 1281 with a larger and more formidable force. History repeated itself as another typhoon struck, destroying considerable portions of the Mongol fleet. The Japanese once again credited the divine wind for their salvation and the failed invasions that had a lasting impact on Japan, reinforcing a sense of divine protection and inspiring the concept of the kamikaze as a symbol of salvation from foreign threats. The events also contributed to a decline in the Mongol Empire's attempt to expand further into East Asia. Twitter killer. Takehiro Shiraishi is a Japanese serial killer who gained notoriety in 2017. Shiraishi was arrested in 2017 for the murders of 9 people, most of whom he lured through social media platforms including Twitter. He targeted individuals who were contemplating suicide, offering to assist them in their plans, but ultimately killing them. His actions shed light on the dark side of online interactions and the potential dangers of social media, and the case sparked discussions about mental health support, online safety, and the responsibilities of social media platforms in preventing harm. In 2020, Shiraishi was convicted and sentenced to death for his crimes. Sandaku is a Japanese term that refers to the habit of acquiring books but letting them pile up without reading them. It's a combination of 2 words, sunde, to stack, and uko, to leave. Essentially, sandaku describes the act of collecting books with the intention of reading them someday, but the books end up accumulating in unread stacks. This phenomenon is relatable to many book enthusiasts, and is often seen as a charming yet sometimes overwhelming aspect of a love for literature. I basically do that with games nowadays, so they're just like me for real. Godzilla Japan citizen. In 2015, Tokyo gave Godzilla citizenship, officially making the King of Monsters a citizen of Japan. On the official citizenship certificate, Godzilla address is Shinjuku Kabukicho 1191. This is where the famed Godzilla towers over the Shinjuku Toho building, and his date of birth is marked as April 9, 1954, aligning with the release of his first movie. The reason for this special residency is to promote Japanese entertainment, watching over the Kubikocho neighborhood, and drawing visitors from around the globe, while marking him as Shinjuku's tourism ambassador, and keeping Kabukicho a fun, safe destination for people of all kinds. The 5th tier. Aum Shinrikyo was a controversial Japanese religious cult founded by Shoko Asahara in 1984. The group gained international attention in 1995, when its members carried out a deadly sarin gas attack on the Tokyo subway system, resulting in the deaths of 13 people and injuring over 1,000 others. The cult blends elements of Buddhism, Hinduism, and other spiritual traditions, attracting a significant following in Japan. Asahara prophesied an apocalyptic future and claimed to possess supernatural powers. Aum Shinrikyo's activities included amassing weapons, conducting biological and chemical weapons research, and engaging in various criminal activities. The 1995 Tokyo subway attack was a turning point, leading to the arrest of Asahara and several cult members. Aum Shinrikyo was subsequently disbanded, and Asahara and several of his followers were sentenced to death for their roles in their attack and other crimes. The Aum Shinrikyo story serves as a cautionary tale about the potential dangers of extremist ideologies and the destructive consequences that can arise when such beliefs are taken to extremes. Kotoribako. The Kotoribako has urban legends dating back throughout history, and one of the stories goes as follows. Long, long ago, there was a small village which lived tucked away in the mountains of Japan. One day, the head of the village discovered a mysterious Kotoribako box with a beautiful, intricate design. Upon parading the box around the village, women and children were drawn to the object, begging the head of the village to open it. However, the puzzle was too difficult. Suddenly, the women and children grew ill, coughing up blood and falling to the dirt, as spasms after spasms afflicted their bodies. Within days, anyone who had ventured near the box had fallen sick with the mysterious illness, and the women and children who were once so curious to open the box were the first to perish from the violence of the disease. In hopes of cleansing whatever curse the Kotoribako bots had brought upon the people, the head of the village locked away the bots in the village's shrine, declaring it to never be touched again. Years later, when the horror of the Kotoribako bots had faded to a disbelieved tale, a group of people found the bots within the shrine. After working on the puzzle, the bots finally sprang open to reveal the contents inside. Inside, the Kotoribako bots were the remains of a human corpse, the head shrunken, yet preserved, with its eyes wide in a loathsome glare. Immediately, the people who discovered the bots fell to their knees, while gagging on mouthfuls of blood as they choked and spasmed. Within hours, the population of the village was decimated, as men, women, and children fell to a quick and violent death, their screams ringing out over the mountains. No one survived. Red Room Curse. It is unknown where the curse originated. All we know is that the curse made waves back in 1998, and that it was originally believed to be adware. The cursed internet pop-up consists of a red window with Japanese writing, "Did you like?" along with an ominous and deep voice reading it out loud. The pop-up window cannot be closed at all, no matter what is done to prevent it. It gets worse with each and every click of the mouse, or keyboard stroke, which unveils more letters until the message says, "Do you like the red room?" The computer screen is enveloped in black with lists of the names of the previous victims of the red room. All of a sudden, the victim senses an unknown presence in the room and is slowly driven to commit suicide by the supernatural forces, and the walls of the room are painted with their own blood. Those who survive are driven insane and are most likely incarcerated at mental institutions or at regular prison. However, it is widely believed that the pop-up is real in the form of an adware or prank and that the curse is false. The Nanjing Massacre, also known as the Rape of Nanking, occurred during the Second Sino-Japanese War in 1937 through 1938, when Japanese forces captured the city of Nanking, now Nanjing, in China. The event is marked by widespread atrocities committed by the Imperial Japanese Army against Chinese soldiers and civilians. During the occupation of Nanking, an estimated 200,000 to 300,000 Chinese civilians and disarmed soldiers were killed, and numerous cases of mass looting and other brutalities were reported. The exact numbers and details remain a subject of historical debate, but the Nanking Massacre is widely recognized as one of the most shocking war crimes of the 20th century. The International Military Tribunal for the Far East, held after World War II, documented and prosecuted war crimes committed by Japanese military personnel, including those involved in the Nanking Massacre. The historical significance of the Nanking Massacre is a somber reminder of the human cost of war, and the importance of acknowledging and remembering such atrocities to promote peace and prevent future conflict. Yukio Yamaji. Yukio Yamaji was a Japanese serial killer. He murdered his own mother in 2000 and also murdered a 27-year-old woman and her 19-year-old sister in 2005. Yamaji was born into a poor family, and things would only get worse for him after his father died in 1995. After he graduated from junior high school, he did not enter high school. Instead, he began working at a newspaper store. He went on to kill his 50-year-old mother with a metal baseball bat on July 29, 2000, at the age of 16. He then called the police and was arrested 2 days later. His motives were his mother's silent telephone calls to a woman who he fell in love with and his mother's debt. He was later paroled in October 2003 and was released officially in March 2004. But on November 17, 2005, Yamaji arrested a 27-year-old woman and her 19-year-old sister, and would murder them using a knife in Naniwa, Osaka. The two victims had never met Yamaji, and he would be arrested again on December 5th, 2005. He said to the Osaka police, "I could not forget the feeling when I killed my mother. I wanted to see human blood." On December 13, 2006, Osaka District Court sentenced him to death. His defense made an appeal, but he retracted the appeal, and he would be executed by hanging in Osaka on July 28, 2009. Kisaragi Station refers to a Japanese urban legend that originated on the 2chan message board back in 2004. The story revolves around Hasumi, an anonymous user, who shares her mysterious experience in a train carriage during her routine commute to work. All passengers are asleep. The train doesn't make any stops, and both the conductor and driver are inaccessible. After an hour, the train stops at a seemingly non-existent station called Kisaragi. Hasumi, feeling uneasy, consults the online community for advice. Despite warnings that Kisaragi Station doesn't exist and that she should leave immediately, Hasumi decides to explore. Unable to find a taxi and facing an otherworldly atmosphere, with bells ringing and a mysterious festival, she encounters a one-legged old man who immediately vanishes. This event causes her to flee into a dark tunnel and injuring herself. At the end of the tunnel, a friendly man offers her a ride to safety, and as they travel into distant mountains, the surroundings become increasingly unfamiliar. Hasumi's last message on the message board hints at a disturbing turn of events, with her battery running out, strange occurrences happening, and her decision to make a run for it as the situation becomes more bizarre. The fate of Hasumi remains unknown, leaving the story with an unsettling and mysterious conclusion. African Samurai. Yasuke was a historical figure who lived in the 16th century. He was an African man believed to be either of Mozambican or Ethiopian origin, who served as a samurai in feudal Japan. Yasuke arrived in Japan as a slave or servant in the service of Jesuit missionary Alessandro Valignano. His impressive stature and skin color attracted the attention of the daimyo, Oda Nobunaga, who took an interest in Yasuke and eventually made him a samurai. Yasuke's exact origins and the details of his life in Japan are somewhat shrouded in mystery. He served Nobunaga during a tumultuous period of Japanese history, marked by political intrigue and conflict. After Nobunaga's death, Yasuke's fate becomes uncertain, and historical records about him become scarce. The story of Yasuke has gained renewed interest in recent years, and while some aspects of his life are well documented, many details remain speculative or unclear. This historical figure has become a symbol of cultural exchange and diversity in Japan's history. Kirishitan refers to Japanese Christians and historical period during which Christianity was introduced to Japan. The term itself is a Japanese adaptation of the Portuguese word cristão, meaning Christian. Christianity first arrived in Japan in the 16th century through Portuguese and Spanish missionaries, most notably Francis Xavier. The early spread of Christianity in Japan was marked by some success, with a notable number of conversations and the establishment of Christianity communities. However, as political and social circumstances changed, the Tokugawa shogunate began to perceive Christianity as a threat to its authority and a destabilizing influence. This led to the suppression of Christianity during the Edo period. In 1614, the Tokugawa shogunate issued the Sakoku Edict, which officially banned Christianity, leading to the persecution and expulsion of missionaries as well as the suppression of Kirishitan communities. The practice of Christianity was forced to go underground, and many Kirishitan were forced to renounce their faith or practice it secretly. The historical legacy of Kirishitan is a complex one, marked by periods of acceptance and persecution. Even after the end of the Edo period and the Meiji Restoration in 1868, when Japan opened up to the world, Christianity faced challenges in re-establishing itself. Today, Christianity is a minority religion in Japan, remains a fascinating chapter in the cultural and religious history of the country. Teke Teke. Teke Teke is a Japanese urban legend about a ghost woman who was cut in half by a train. According to the story, the woman, often described as a schoolgirl or young woman, fell onto the train tracks and the oncoming train severed her body in half. In some versions, it is suggested that she was pushed, committed suicide, or accidentally fell. The legend gets its name from the sound the ghost is said to make as it moves, Teke Teke, which mimics the sound of the woman dragging her upper body with her arms. The ghost is typically depicted as having a frightening appearance, with a torso dragging along the ground, and she is known for her vengeful nature, chasing after those who encounter her, especially at night. The Teke Teke story is often used as a cautionary tale to warn people about the dangers of being near train tracks and to discourage reckless behavior. Fatal Fair. Fatal Fair is a horror story that originated on the internet and gained popularity as an urban legend. The story starts off with a taxi driver making his way along a road at night. It is said that a person suddenly appears from the darkness and hails Itachi. The person sits in the back of the car and asks to be taken to a place that the driver has never heard of. Even though the driver is hesitant, the passenger assures him that he will be able to get there with the help of the directions and offers a bit of money. The driver agrees, but little does he know that the passenger isn't a typical person. The passenger gives the driver confusing and complex directions, which leads them down streets and alleys, through many towns, and even in some instances, all the way from the city to the countryside. Basically, the passenger says very odd things such as, take 5 lefts, 2 rights, and then drive straight until you see a sign. Once you've done that, I'll tell you what to do next. After the driver finished doing that, the passenger just says almost the exact same thing he just said a bit ago. After a while, the driver gets a bit uneasy because so much time has passed, and they've been going in circles. The driver turns around to ask the person where they're supposed to be dropped off again, but is shocked to find that the passenger has completely vanished. The taxi driver turns back to the steering wheel only to drive off the edge of a cliff and die. Cowhead. Cowhead is an urban legend that centers around a ghostly and unsettling story that was so terrifying that hearing it will cause you to die from fright. The story is known to exist, but people are afraid of telling it. The only evidence we have of it is an account of an elementary school teacher who was taking his class on a school trip. As he began telling the cowhead story, the children began panicking, telling him to stop and not to tell them. An hour later, the teacher wakes up to see that the bus he and his students were in crashed. The tale of the cowhead urban legend taps into the fear of the unknown and the supernatural, creating a chilling and memorable story that has circulated in Japanese folklore and ghost story traditions. Inunaki Tunnel is a notorious location in Japan, known for urban legends and paranormal stories. It is a real tunnel located in the Inunaki Mountains, in the Fukuoka Prefecture. The tunnel has gained a reputation for being haunted, with numerous reports of eerie experiences by those who have ventured inside. Legend has it that the Inunaki Tunnel is haunted by spirits and supernatural entities, leading to various chilling tales. Visitors claim to hear mysterious sounds, encounter apparitions, and experience an overall feeling of unease while inside the tunnel. Some stories also suggest that people have gone missing or met tragic fates after entering the tunnel. The legends surrounding the Inunaki Tunnel have contributed to its popularity as a destination for thrill seekers and paranormal enthusiasts. Many caution against entering the tunnel alone or at night, due to the perceived supernatural activity associated with the location. While some consider the story to be purely fictional, others believe that the tunnel holds a genuine air of mystery and unease. Garage Bad Dreams Adventure. Garage Bad Dreams Adventure is a surreal and nightmarish point-and-click adventure game inspired by Carl Jung's works. Set inside the mind of a man named Yang, the game takes place in a therapy machine that creates a dystopian world resembling Kowloon Walled City. In this city, biomechanical entities are trapped on tracks, repeating their lives in a dark, patriarchal capitalist society. The player controls a small biomachine, tasked with finding its shadow, and escaping the city. Along the way, they encounter other machines, solve puzzles, fish for frogs, and manage their diminishing supplies of ego and fuel. Developed by Japanese surrealist artist Tomomi Sakuba, the game features 3D graphics by Gengo Ito and Hiroki Watanabe, and music by Tomonori Tanaka. Sakuba's interest in games started with Cosmic Cosmo, leading him to study game development and eventually create Garage. Initially released in limited quantities, the game became rare, with original copies considered extremely scarce. Members of 4chan's retro gaming board discovered it, pulled funds to acquire it, and preserve it, and later released a limited Garage Private Edition. A remastered version, Garage Complete Version, was released on iOS and Android in 2021, featuring English language support, UI improvements, new content, and multiple endings. This version was later ported to Windows and released on Steam as Garage Bad Dreams Adventure in 2022. Tears Hits. Nevada-tan is a disturbing and infamous case involving a Japanese schoolgirl named Natsumi Tsuji. She gained notoriety for brutally attacking and killing her classmate, Satomi Mitarai, with a butt cutter in 2004. Natsumi was only 11 years old at the time of the incident, and her shocking act of violence shocked Japan and garnered international attention. The term Nevada-tan originated from online communities and refers to Natsumi's username on an online message board, where she allegedly discussed violent thoughts and tendencies before the crime. The case sparked discussion about juvenile crime, mental health, and the influence of internet culture on young individuals. The Nevada-tan case is often featured in internet culture and true crime discussions due to its disturbing nature, and the questions it raises about the intersection of technology, mental health, and real-world violence. Issei Sagawa. Issei Sagawa is a Japanese man infamously known for committing a heinous crime in 1981. Sagawa murdered and cannibalized Renee Hardevelt, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing name, a fellow student in Paris, where he was studying literature. After his arrest, Sagawa's wealthy family used their influence to have him declared legally insane, allowing him to avoid trial and imprisonment in Japan. Sagawa spent a brief period in a mental institution in France, but was eventually deported back to Japan. Due to legal loopholes, he faced minimal consequences for his crime and was released. This lack of justice garnered international attention and sparked controversy. Following his release, Sagawa became a minor celebrity, making public appearances, writing books, and even working in the media. The case of Issei Sagawa raises ethical and legal questions about the handling of heinous crimes and individuals declared legally insane. His story has become a dark and disturbing part of true crime history, making him a subject of fascination for those interested in the macabre and the intricacies of criminal justice systems. Bancho Sarayashiki, also known as Okiku and the Nine Plates, is a famous Japanese ghost story that has been adapted into various forms of literature, theater, and film. The tale is set in the Edo period and revolves around a vassal named Okiku who worked in the service of a samurai named Aoyama Tesan. The story unfolds when Aoyama Tesan becomes infatuated with Okiku, but is rejected by her. In his desperation and obsession, Aoyama concocts a plan to frame Okiku for the theft of a precious family heirloom, a set of 10 valuable plates. He accuses her of a crime, demanding her to become his lover in exchange for the plates' return. Okiku, refusing to compromise her principles, remains steadfast in her denial and rejects Aoyama's advances. As the tension escalates, Aoyama loses his temper and pushes Okiku down a well, leading to her tragic death. However, Okiku's vengeful spirit returns, haunting Aoyama and the Aoyama residents. The ghostly Okiku is said to count from 1 to 9, searching for the missing 10th plate, and upon reaching the non-existent 10th count, unleashes a terrifying scream. The story of Bancho Sarayashiki explores themes of unrequited love, betrayal, and the consequences of one's actions. It has become a classic in Japanese ghost folklore and is often adapted in various mediums, contributing to its enduring popularity. Burakumin refers to a socially marginalized group in Japan, historically associated with occupations deemed impure or unclean. The Burakumin are often linked to occupations such as butchers, tanners, and executioners, and they have faced discrimination and social stigmatization for many centuries. Historically, the Burakumin were segregated into specific neighborhoods known as Buraku or Etamura, where they lived in isolation from the rest of society. Over time, efforts have been made to address the discrimination faced by the Burakumin, and Japan has implemented anti-discrimination laws to promote equality. However, prejudice and social stigma may still persist in some forms, and the Burakumin community continues to advocate for further societal acceptance and understanding. It's important to note that discussions surrounding the Burakumin can be sensitive due to the historical discrimination they have faced, and efforts towards social inclusivity and equal treatments are still ongoing in Japan. The Setagaya family. The Setagaya family refers to a notorious unsolved crime that occurred in Setagaya, Tokyo, on December 30th, 2000. In this incident, an unknown assailant broke into the home of the Miyasawa family and brutally attacked them. The victims include Mikio Miyasawa, 44 years old, his wife Yasuko Miyasawa, 41 years old, and their children Nina, 8 years old, and Rei, 6 years old. The assailant used a sashimi knife found in the family's kitchen to stab each family member multiple times, resulting in their deaths. The crime was discovered on the morning of December 31st, 2000, when the brother of Mikio Miyasawa went to visit the family and found their bodies. Despite a comprehensive investigation by the police, the perpetrator has never been identified or apprehended, making it one of Japan's most infamous unsolved crimes. The Setagaya family tragedy has continued to capture public attention and has led to renewed efforts by law enforcement and the media to solve the case. The mystery surrounding the motive and identity of the perpetrator remains, and the case remains open, with periodic reviews and appeals for information from the authorities. May 15 incident, also known as the Bloody May Day, refers to a significant event in Japanese history that occurred on May 15, 1932. It was a failed coup d'etat orchestrated by a faction, the Japanese military and ultranationalist group called League of Blood, against the government. The coup was led by young Imperial Japanese army officers who were dissatisfied with what they perceived as the government's failure to address social and economic issues, and its perceived weakness in dealing with foreign influences. The plotters sought to establish a totalitarian state, eliminate political parties, and restore the emperor's authority. On the day of the incident, the conspirators occupied key government buildings and attempted to assassinate several prominent politicians, including Prime Minister Inukai Tsuyoshi. The coup, however, was swiftly suppressed by loyalist forces, and the conspirators were arrested or committed suicide. However, Prime Minister Inukai was assassinated during the coup attempt. The May 15 incident had significant consequences for Japanese politics. It highlighted the internal strife with the military and the growing influence of ultranationalist ideologies. The government responded by cracking down on ultranationalist groups and increasing censorship. The incident also contributed to the militarization of Japanese society, leading to more aggressive foreign policies and ultimately playing the role in the path to World War II. Arigato comes from Portuguese. The term arigato in Japanese, meaning thank you, is believed to have historical roots in Portuguese. During the 16th century, Portuguese traders and missionaries were among the first Europeans to arrive in Japan. The Portuguese word obrigado, which also means thank you or thanks in English, is thought to have influenced the Japanese language. The Portuguese presence in Japan during this period led to cultural and linguistic exchanges. The Japanese adopted some Portuguese words, including obrigado, incorporating them into their language, with modifications to suit Japanese phonetics. Over time, obrigado evolved into arigato. This linguistic influence is an example of the cultural interchange that occurred during Japan's interactions with other countries, and it highlights the dynamic nature of language development through cross-cultural encounters. The historical connection between Portuguese and Japanese serve as a reminder of the rich history of cultural exchange in the global context. I'm just kidding, arigato is purely a Japanese word. It's just a common myth though, that arigato comes from Portuguese. Monster School. Monster School was a Japanese children puppet show created by writer and author Sachiko Kashiwaba. The premise of the show is about a boy named Nobito, whose parents had to travel to Africa to work. They left him with a family of Tengus, who had him go to a school filled with monsters of Japanese mythology. The thing that makes this show interesting, however, is that aside from the plot, episode list, and a couple of episodes that have been uploaded online, there really isn't a lot known about it, technically marking this show as lost media. Cursed Kleenex Commercial. The Cursed Kleenex Commercial is a 1986 Japanese advertisement featuring a woman and a child dressed as a baby Oni. Set to the song It's a Fine Day by Edward Barton and Jane Lancaster, the eerie nature of the ad led to complaints and subsequent withdrawal by Kleenex. Various claims around the commercial include a belief that the English lyrics conceal a German curse meaning die, die, everyone is cursed, and will be killed. Rumors circulated about the child's death due to body paint toxicity, while the actress was said to have died, experienced a mental breakdown, been institutionalized, or given birth to a demon baby. The curse myth gained momentum with a YouTube video alleging the ad became distorted and creepy when watched at midnight. The 7th tier. Sadamichi Hirasawa was a Japanese artist who gained notoriety for his involvement in the Teijin incident, a mass poisoning that occurred in Tokyo in 1948. Hirasawa was accused of poisoning a bank with hydrogen cyanide, resulting in the deaths of 12 bank employees and customers. The motive behind the crime was believed to be an attempt to steal a large sum of money. Hirasawa was arrested, tried, and ultimately sentenced to death in a highly controversial case. Many aspects of the trial were criticized, including allegations of police torture and forced confessions. Despite maintaining his innocence, Hirasawa was executed in 1987, more than 3 decades after the incident. The Teijin incident and Hirasawa's subsequent trial and execution remain a subject of debate and speculation, with some arguing that he may have been wrongly convicted. The case is often cited as an example of flaws in the Japanese legal system and the potential for miscarriages of justice. Emishi. The Emishi were a group of indigenous people who live in the northeastern regions of Japan's Honshu Island during ancient times, particularly in what is now known as the Tohoku region. They were distinct from the Yamato people, who were the ancestors of modern-day Japanese. The Emishi are often associated with a period in Japanese history known as the Yayoi period, and the subsequent Kofun period. The Emishi were known for their skilled horsemanship and were considered to be formidable warriors. They engaged in conflicts with the Yamato rulers in the central parts of Japan, and these conflicts, known as the Emishi Wars or campaigns, lasted for several centuries as the Yamato sought to expand their influence and control over the Emishi territories. The Emishi maintained a distinct cultural identity, which included their own language and costumes. They were skilled hunters and gatherers, adapting to the harsh environment of the northeastern regions. The Emishi's resistance to Yamato rule is reflected in the historical records such as Nihon Shoki, Chronicles of Japan, and the Kojiki, Records of Ancient Matters, which document the efforts of the Yamato rulers to subjugate the Emishi. Over time, however, the Emishi became increasingly integrated into the broader Japanese society through a combination of military campaigns, diplomacy, and cultural exchange. The exact fate of the Emishi is not entirely clear, but their distinct identity gradually faded as Japan moved into the Heian period and beyond. Today, the Emishi are remembered as indigenous people who played a significant role in shaping the early history of Japan, with their resistance to Yamato expansion leaving a mark on the historical narrative of the region. Yuki Onishi. Onishi was the founder and the head chef of the Suda, the world's first Michelin-starred ramen shop. He would work at his father's ramen shop when he was younger before opening his own restaurant in 2012. And in 2016, his restaurant would receive the title of the world's first Michelin-starred ramen shop for his specialty in dashi stock and shoyu ramen. He would continue to expand his business internationally up until his unfortunate death on September 23, 2022, due to acute heart failure. His death caused his business to close, although it is stated that it is closed for various reasons. However, there are plans for the reopening of the restaurant. Pana Wave. Pana Wave is a Japanese religious movement founded in the mid-1970s by Yuki Chino. Emphasizing environmentalism, spiritual healing, and a fusion of spirituality with scientific explanations, the movement gained popularity for its distinctive white vehicles and clothing, symbolizing purity and commitment to environmental causes. Yuko Chino, born in 1945, founded Pana Wave in 1975. Her teachings focus on spiritual healing, claiming she could heal using her spiritual energy. Pana Wave believes the Earth is in crisis, urging humanity to unite for its salvation. Environmentalism is central, advocating living in harmony with nature. The movement also addresses a perceived spiritual crisis, encouraging members to turn to spirituality for mental and physical healing. A unique aspect of Pana Wave is its incorporation of scientific explanations into religious phenomena. It asserts that the spiritual world is comprehensible through scientific study, appealing to those seeking rational and scientific interpretations of spirituality. Despite its positive image, Pana Wave has faced criticism in Japan. Accusations of cult-like behavior, concerns about teachings and practices, financial irregularities, and worries about member welfare have sparked controversy surrounding the movement. Japanese cyberpunk in cinema. Cyberpunk is a genre that emerged in the late 20th century, characterized by its futuristic and dystopian themes, often exploring the intersection of technology, society, and the human condition. Influenced by global cyberpunk literature, Japanese filmmakers brought their unique cultural perspectives to the genre, creating a distinct and visually striking cinematic experience. In Japanese cyberpunk films, advanced technology is often portrayed as both a tool for empowerment and a source of existential threat. The narratives frequently delve into the consequences of unchecked corporate power, government surveillance, and the blurring boundaries between man and machine. Themes of identity, rebellion, and the impact of rapid technological advancement on traditional values are central to the genre. A notable example of Japanese cyberpunk is the work of director Mamoru Oshii, particularly in the animated film Ghost in the Shell. This seminal work explores the implications of cybernetic enhancements and artificial intelligence on human identity and consciousness. Another influential film is Katsuhiro Otomo's Akira, which presents a post-apocalyptic Tokyo filled with psychic powers, government experimentation, and anti-establishment sentiments. Japanese cyberpunk cinema often features visually arresting aesthetics, combining neon-soaked cityscapes, futuristic technology, and gritty urban environments. The genre has continued to evolve, with contemporary filmmakers exploring new facets of cyberpunk themes while staying true to the genre's roots in questioning the societal impact of advancing technology. Overall, Japanese cyberpunk cinema remains a significant and influential contribution to the broader cyberpunk genre. The Omiya Incident. The Omiya Incident took place at the end of the Edo Period on December 10, 1867. During the last days of the Tokugawa shogunate, Ryoma Sakamoto and Shintaro Nakaoka were killed at Omiya, the home of Shinsuke Iguchi in Kawara Machi, Kyoto Prefecture. The incident is attributed to the Kyoto Mimawarigumi, a group responsible for the security of Kyoto. Ryoma had moved from Ikedaya on November 3, 1867, as the government had an eye on Ikedaya. Kashitaro Ito warned Ryoma about being targeted by the Shinsengumi, suggesting he move to the Tosa clan's residency in Sanjo, which Ryoma declined. On November 15th, Nakaoka visited Omiya, and that evening a man claiming to be from Tatsukawa village sought to see Ryoma. The assassins attacked, with Ryoma sustaining fatal injuries. During the attack, he called out a false name to protect Nakaoka, and the identity of the assassins initially sparked confusion as he spoke in Iyo dialect. While initially thought to be Sanosuke Harada and Kawajiro Oishi of the Shinsengumi, Kawajiro Oishi was later killed for Ryoma's assassination. During the Meiji period, a member of the Kyoto Mimawarigumi, Nobu Ima, confessed to killing Ryoma, but doubts persist about the accuracy of this claim. Various theories propose other culprits, such as feudal retainers or warriors of Satsuma. Some believe Satsuma aimed to overthrow the shogunate by force, in contrast to the peaceful approach of Ryoma's Kaintai and Nakaoka's Rikonte. The true details of the Omiya incident remain uncertain, and contributing to its enigmatic nature. Hagio-sama. The narrator recounts childhood visits to their grandparents' chicken farm in Shimane Prefecture, Japan. During these trips, strange occurrences unfold at midnight, involving the grandfather and the incubator room where the chicks are hatched. The narrator witnesses the disposal of certain eggs deemed bad and discovers a mysterious ritual involving a red mirror, a clay cow statue, and plastic flowers. One night, the narrator's younger brother locks eyes with something called Hagio-sama, resulting in a drastic change in his behavior. Despite the family's attempt to intervene, the brother undergoes a transformation, and the grandfather reveals the dark purpose behind disposing of chicks hatched at midnight. The family is left grappling with the consequences. Years later, the narrator learns that technology has automated the disposal process, preventing the emergence of entities like Hagio-sama. The story concludes with the family still united, though marked by the haunting events of the past. Side note for this entry, I recommend reading it for your own entertainment. It's pretty interesting. I just thought about letting you guys know. Yeah. Japan's Socialist Party leader assassinated. This refers to the assassination of Inejiro Asanuma, a Japanese politician who served as the chairman of the Japanese Socialist Party. The incident occurred on October 12, 1960, during a political rally at Tokyo's Hibiya Hall. During the rally, Asanuma was delivering a speech when a 17-year-old nationalist named Otaya Yamaguchi rushed onto the stage with a katana and fatally stabbed Asanuma in the abdomen. The shocking event was captured on live television as it happened during a broadcast. Asanuma was rushed to the hospital but succumbed to his injuries. Otaya Yamaguchi, the assassin, was immediately subdued and later committed suicide while in police custody. The assassination of Inejiro Asanuma was a highly publicized and politically significant event in Japan. It highlighted the tensions and ideological divisions within Japanese society during that period, with Asanuma being a prominent figure in leftist politics and a supporter of closer relations with the Soviet Union. The incident also raised concerns about political violence and extremism in the country. The final tier. Shock hentais refers to hentais with shocking imagery in them, such as eroguro, which is a form of shock hentai. Eroguro is a cultural and artistic movement that emerged in Japan in the early 20th century, and grotesque elements, often found in literature, art, cinema, and manga. In eroguro, artists explore themes that can be disturbing, macabre, and sexually explicit. The genre often features a mix of horror, eroticism, and dark humor. The works may include graphic depictions of violence, mutilation, or surreal and fantastical scenarios with a strong emphasis on the bizarre and unconventional. Eroguro has influenced various forms of Japanese pop culture, and its themes can be found in different art forms including literature, paintings, manga, and movies. While the genre may not be for everyone due to its explicit and unconventional content, it has played a significant role in pushing artistic boundaries and challenging societal norms in Japan. Life Space Movement. This horrifying story begins with Koji Takahashi, born in 1938, who led a seemingly ordinary life until he founded the Life Space Movement in 1983. This cult started innocuously with self-enlightenment seminars that cost participants upwards of $5,000 per course. The seminars involved elaborate roleplays such as acting blind or as beggars, aimed at offering new perspectives on life. The cult gained traction, reportedly reaching around 10,000 followers at its peak. With a core group of about 200 devotees who believe in Takahashi's extraordinary powers. Takahashi claimed to have followed an Indian guru named Sai Baba through 6,000 years of reincarnation, perfecting the guru's healing technique called Shaktipat. This method involved tapping palms on a patient's forehead and body to transfer the guru's energy. To showcase his supposed powers, Takahashi seized an opportunity when one of his followers, Shinichi Kobayashi, suffered a cerebral hemorrhage after sleeping in his bathroom in Osaka. Against medical advice, Takahashi convinced Kobayashi's son, Kenji, to remove his father from the hospital. They took him to a hotel, where Takahashi administered his Shaktipat healing method. Over the next 4 months, documented in a disturbing 5-volume, 2,000-page record title, father and son's bonds are connected at once when the son nurses the father. Takahashi continued his futile attempts to heal Kobayashi, despite clear signs of death. Kenji, the son, acknowledged his father's lack of breathing, pulse, and green complexion, but the guru persisted in asserting that the patient was alive. The cult dismissed obvious signs of decomposition, explaining maggots as ascetics, ticks, and justifying the lack of a pulse as something only amateurs couldn't recognize. Color photographs of Kobayashi's decomposing body were included in the book. The story came to light when the police discovered the book during a raid on the hotel. Koji Takahashi was implicated in Kobayashi's death, highlighting the disturbing power dynamics that cult leaders can wield over their followers. The Monster with 21 Faces is a notorious Japanese criminal group that gained infamy in the 1980s for a series of extortion, kidnapping, and harassment incidents that targeted major food and beverage companies. The group first surfaced in 1984 with the extortion of Glyco, a prominent confectionery company. The criminals sent letters containing threats and riddles demanding large sums of money in exchange for stopping their tampering of the company's products. The group expanded its targets to other companies including Morinaga, Muradai Ham, and House Foods. Monsters with 21 Faces engage in a cat-and-mouse game with law enforcement, leaving taunting letters and clues at crime scenes. Despite efforts by the police, the culprits managed to elude capture, leaving the authorities and the public frustrated. The criminal group derived its name from a letter sent to the media claiming that they were monsters, and boasting of having 21 faces to represent their ability to transform and adapt. The case remained unsolved, and the group eventually disappeared without any members being apprehended. The mystery surrounding the monster with 21 faces continues to captivate public interest in Japan, and the identity of the individuals behind the criminal acts remain unknown to this day. SSS Curb. Located in Okinawa, Japan, the SSS Curb is a stretch of road rumored to be haunted due to the tragic events that occurred during World War II. Numerous Japanese soldiers lost their lives in this area, and it is believed that their spirits linger, haunting the places where they fell. The SSS Curve, in particular, is shrouded in paranormal legends. Though limited information is available about this mysterious location, some have described episodes of nausea, dizziness, and the unsettling sensation of someone's hand touching their body. Many also claim to feel a pervasive sense of being watched. Reports include sightings of ghostly figures dressed in soldier clothing, adding to the haunting atmosphere. These paranormal occurrences have attracted the attention of paranormal investigators, prompting visits to the area in an attempt to capture evidence of the supernatural phenomena, believed to be connected to the spirits of the fallen Japanese soldiers from World War II. Hirogata, also known as white humanoids, is an urban legend that originated on the Japanese message board 2chan in 2004. It describes a mysterious and unsettling commercial or PSA featuring two white, featureless human figures against a black or sepia-colored background. The figures appear to alternate, accompanied by the sound of a railroad crossing sign and a message that states that every 2 seconds, someone dies on Earth. The legend has conflicting reports, with varying eyewitness accounts regarding the presence of a railroad crossing sign and the color of the background. Testimonies date the sighting to the 1990s or 2000, narrowing down the time frame from 1996 to 2003. Theories about the origin of Hirogata included being a short commercial, possibly for a drugstore, soap, or jeans company, a UNICEF or NGO advertisement, or a PSA for traffic safety. However, many of these theories have been debunked and the true origin remains unknown. Some speculate that it could be linked to Tokuyama, a chemical company based in Tokyo, but this has not been confirmed. Despite ongoing search for efforts for over a decade, the commercial has not been found, contributing to the mystery and speculation surrounding. Skeptics suggest it might be a case of the Mandela effect or mass delusion. The legend has become a topic of interest, with dedicated threads on forums and continued efforts to unveil the truth, both in Japan and internationally. Chimu Chimu Chiri Chim Chim Chiri is an anime made by graphic artist and animator Tadanori Yoko, and shown in the Mina no Uta segment of NHA programming. It's based on the Japanese version of the 1964 Academy Award song Chim Chim Chiri, that was originally sung by Dick Van Dyke and Julie Andrews in the movie Mary Poppins. The AMV depicts the life of a chimney sweeper as he travels across town cleaning chimneys and becoming darker due to the soot. I'm going to be honest here for a second, there really isn't any underlying malicious intention, it really is just an AMV, so do what you will with that information. Okay, and now we're finally to our last entry in the iceberg. I'll just call this gibberish for now. The name of it doesn't really translate into anything, and the channel post, well, let me show you. The channel began uploading back in May 2020, and most of their content is this bizarre imagery with distorted music. From what I gather, there really is barely any information around the channel aside from people believing that it might be an ARG, and whenever I put some of the names from the titles of some of these videos, I got things like The Lord's Command, The Rope is Fine, and Weakness, Weakness, Weakness. Other titles didn't give me a translation, which I'm guessing is because the phrase might be a Japanese slang, or it might very well translate into nothing. However, if you do have any information on this last entry, please let me know. I do find this channel interesting, and I will leave a link down below to it. Okay, and that was the complete Japan iceberg. I hope you guys enjoyed it, as much as I did making it. I think my favorite entry was definitely Garage Bad Dreams Adventure, which I'm thinking about making a video on at some point, or might be the next video I make, I'm not sure yet. But yeah, please let me know what your favorite entry was, if you have any. Also let me know if you guys want me to make other iceberg videos. I do find them interesting, so yeah, I'm open for suggestion. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.